And welcome back to an Apple-used, technologically driven podcast, episode number 56. Hello, welcome. And it's John and Brad. We're back after a week of stress and frustration. Things are changing, folks, and just like wrestling, you're going to deal with it because why? Vince McMahon said so. Fuck you, that's why. Brad, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Just no specifics. You're pretty good. I mean, that's good to hear, but I was hoping to get more than that.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm staying pretty regular. And,
Cool.
I'm eating good.
Are you stealing the show and girlfriends at the same time?
I'm not stealing girlfriends anymore.
No. Okay. I know you're married. I just wanted to make sure. but as long as no, seriously, as long as you're stealing the show, I think that's all that matters.
I am stealing the show.
Good. Because that's what we strive for here at the VOTV Podcast Hub is to always steal the show wherever you go. And you know what? If you're single and steal a few girlfriends, that's fine too. We promote equality in the workplace. And what I mean by equality is, fuck everybody else, do what you want, that sort of thing. Which I think goes well with our theme usually. Right? Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I would say so.
Oh, good. Okay, well, I'm glad we're on the same page, and I hope all of you will remain on that page with us throughout our journey to pure mediocrity, because that's what at least I am, according to every woman that I meet, and we're going to leave it at that. So tell the people what we have to talk about today. Huge news all over the place. I don't even know where to start. Do you? Because last week we were off. Now we're here, and we're meaner than ever, I think. I'm literally making this all up as I go. So please, shut me up.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got No Mercy, Raw, Smackdown, some news with William Goldberg.
Who's
among
that?
maybe other things. Well, yeah. Some old fuck.
So, all right, to quote Brad Shepard, who is Bill Goldberg? Some old fuck. Now we have it, folks. I think we can sign off. But yeah, that's certainly stole the show, if you will, for the wrestling news for the last week. But let's start with No Mercy, because why start with Raw from last week? It was garbage, as always. No Mercy. So let's start with you personally. Baron Corbin had one hell of a night, got the win, cheated to do it. And I thought it was pretty spectacular. From top to bottom, what was your favorite match of the night, and what was your favorite moment? I think there's two separate.
So for me, I think the match of the night was Dolph Ziggler and The Miz.
100%. 100.
Yeah. I think that provided the best moment. I think that was the best match because it told a great story. I thought it was a great match. The in-ring work, the psychology, the whole story put together with it. It was just really, really good.
But wait, there were no
flips. That's the kind of stuff they should be doing.
There were no flips. They didn't flip once.
I know, incredible. That's one of the things that I was thinking as I'm watching this, and just reminded me again how incredible something could be without it being a flippity-doo spot fest. When you invested a story and emotion and put stakes on the line and tell a good in-ring story with psychology and selling. I mean, it was great.
But well, no. Big flips, death-defying stunts is how to get 5 stars. So, like, in my opinion, that I don't know. I think that match was like a 2.5 stars. 2.75.
And Alvarez rated that like I think it was a 2.25 star match.
No. All right. I'm obviously kidding around, but shut up. Tell me what he actually.
I'm being serious. Oh, he really did.
3/4 stars for that.
I think it was like 2.25 stars out of 5.
What does he want?
Apparently not a match with The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, because clearly that was an excellent match.
All right. Well, guys,
that's why I hate the 5-star system, right? That's why I hate it.
It's not even a system. It's made up. It's fake.
Well, it is made up. It is fake, just like the fights. And it's totally subjective. And it's totally subjective, right? There's no criteria. There's no set criteria. The whole thing is just total chicken shit, bullshit. It's just stupid. I've never been a fan of it. If it's an excellent match, just call it what it is. It's an excellent match. It doesn't need to be a star, an alphabet letter, a number, whatever. Just call it what it is. I'm not a fan of the 5-star system. I never have been.
Well, how do you... Is there like a place to be able to figure that out? Because I want to know what its criteria is. Now, is it like an NXT match that means fucking nothing? Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, he's giving 4+ stars to a lot of these matches in PWG that are no story, total spot fests. Kicking out of finishers multiple times. So, I mean, that really tells you what his big criteria is. It's these indie darlings with the spot fests, popping the boys. That's really what it comes down to for him. But, what he rates as 5 stars, you and I could rate as 3 stars or, Brian Alvarez or Mike Johnson or whoever. I mean, it's totally subjective. The whole thing is just stupid. It's so dumb. So I've never been a fan of it.
I'm not either. And right now I'm looking at on ProFightDB.com the list of the 5-star matches that Dave Meltzer made because it's fake. So it looks like 11 out of the top 12 are from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, listen, I don't watch New Japan. Can you tell me, do all of their matches have storylines? Like, a lot of them are from Wrestle Kingdoms or G1 Climaxes, or that's basically it. A lot of those. Like, Tanahashi and Nakamura have a good bunch. Okada, Ishii, Suzuki, they're a lot in there. But the so the most recent 5-star match happened on September 3rd, 2016, right? Can you take a guess what that match was?
Was that a Young Bucks match?
Actually, yes, it was. It was. Did you actually know that? That's a hell of a guess.
No, I knew it. It's a tag match with was it 6-man, I believe?
It was a PWG Bola Night 2, Ospreay, Ricochet, and Matt Sydal, formerly known as Evan Bourne, versus the Young Bucks and Adam Cole. Did you watch this match? Was it actually that good?
I didn't watch it. I saw some highlights, some GIFs, or whatever you want to call it.
What was it? No story spot fest, right?
Yeah, of course. That's what all the Young Bucks matches are. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. And guess what? It's a bunch of guys that are 6 foot. It's a bunch of guys or under. It's a bunch of guys that are under 200 pounds, and they're doing a bunch of Cirque du Soleil, and they're popping each other with these acrobatics. And Dave Meltzer is a huge PWG mark. If the match happened at PWG or if the match happened in New Japan, it's pretty much a guaranteed 4-star match and above with Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. The only WWE match that I see is from July 17th, 2011. My favorite match of all time, CM Punk and John Cena.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a big bias with PWG and with New Japan. It's very obvious.
Because it
is what it is.
They suck his dick and feel his biceps? Is that what it is? Because, shit, if I go do that and I can wrestle in fucking Chikara, can I get a 5-star match?
I mean, the Young Bucks named a finisher after Dave Meltzer. So What do you think?
Okay, I think correctly. There's only been 4. I'm trying to read really fast. 4. I counted 4 5-star matches of all time. It's the Punk and Cena one from Money in the Bank. The Shawn Michaels Undertaker Hell in a Cell in your house, fantastic. Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Mania 13, amazing. Let's see, Noah Hart, SummerSlam 94, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels ladder match, WrestleMania 10. Where's Hogan and Andre? Is this guy serious?
Yeah, it's like arguably the biggest match of all time, and it's not on there because it's not a fucking flippity-do spot fest. I mean, are you kidding me? Do you think the Young Bucks are filling up the fucking Pontiac Silverdome, brother?
It's such a joke.
They're not even filling up the ROH bingo halls. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, well, see, now what is his bias with New Japan? Are they really that spectacular? Because I can respect Nakamura is a hell of a performer, and no one can doubt that. No one can doubt that he's not a 5'7" guy that can do flips. He's all charisma, and that's awesome, right? I love that. But all of these are from New Japan Pro Wrestling in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, it's a good, fast-paced, strong style. I like it, but it's just not.
No story,
It's just,
right?
it's just a clear bias on his part, and he clearly doesn't look for a lot of the elements that make wrestling popular and great, which is a story. That's obviously not very important to him.
Well, excuse me. Well, all I know is, and I'm looking at ESPN's match ratings from No Mercy. Let's see if they actually give it a. Did they? Oh, they have ratings now. Wait, what is this? This is so stupid. First of all, ESPN can suck a giant dick. They can't cover wrestling worth of shit. So okay,
they can't cover sports worth of shit.
All right. Oh, hey, look at this dude. Ziggler and Miz got 4.5 stars.
Well, so we know Brian Alvarez didn't do that.
Yeah. Hey, Swagger and Baron Corbin got 2.
Ah, fuck off. Look,
That's
I was really happy there after because they had announced it on the pre-show.
But
I thought that was total bullshit, and I was pissed about that. But they changed some things up, and they got on the main card, which I was happy about. I thought, Baron's got to go over him strong style. They're going to have a rematch, and Baron's got to win again. He's got to crush this fucker. Yeah. So, I mean, Jack Swagger's a waste. He's old news, so they need to put Baron over. But yeah, the match was good. It was fine. It was a Haas match. It's like 2 legitimately real big guys who are fighters or wrestlers or whatever, as a shoot. And I thought, that's kind of cool to see too. It's not a bunch of small guys who would go up to my, stomach, but it's guys actually having like a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it should be. But altogether, No Mercy was great. By the way, Noelle Foley on Instagram, you creepers out there, you might want to go see this. She put a selfie from the lower boob up to her face. I'm not trying to be like cruel here. I'm just telling you how it is. The comment was, my tank top was $1.90, and you can't teach that. Well, honey, you can't teach gigantic advantages in life. All right, so don't take it for fucking granted. Anyone that looks like what?
Did she make you want to cactus jack off?
All right, can we talk about that, please? Frank the fucking clown. Frank the clown cut a shoot promo, brother. He was trying to rile everybody up, and pretty much what did he? It was at some fucking house show that like the Young Bucks can't sell out, like 80 people, and called everyone out and said, you know what, fuck you guys. I'm dating the hottest chick in all of wrestling. Might be true. Give him credit. And he's a clown, and that's pretty much it. But a wrestler came out from the back, and I don't know if this is a work or not, and says, listen, I wasn't even supposed to come out. I can promise you that, but I want to kick your ass. And he looked pissed off. He really did. He almost got beat the fuck up that night.
Yeah, it was, it was a work. But I guess it was well done for what it was. I mean, I'm not in the business of a lot of Frank the Clown's content.
Yeah.
So I hope that's not a recurring thing, but it is what it is. I mean, it works for a small indie promotion because, again, the people going to these shows, like in Chicago here, are smart fans. And so they're already familiar with the WWE product. They're familiar with Noelle Foley and Frank the Clown. And they don't like Frank the Clown. And so if you want a way to get cheap heat at an indie show, you bring on Frank the Clown and you have him cut a promo like that where he has more leeway to use, profanity, etc. And yeah, the crowd shit all over him. And so they got the desired result. So good for them, but he's still a total bitch.
And in all seriousness, okay, this whole clown thing is nothing to joke about, right? People are dying because of these fucking assholes dressing up like clowns, think if they're the next It star in the It movie. It's no joke. And I'm not kidding when I say this, Bradley, but the moment that Frank the Clown is in public and a cop comes up next to him, something bad could happen. You know, it's not that it's serious shit. It's serious shit. Don't dress up like a clown whenever clowns can even be dressed up as for Halloween in a few weeks. Why is he doing that?
He kind of looks like. Well, he kind of looks like one of those clowns that would be driving like a van that says "candy for kids" on it or something.
It's true. It's sad. It's really sad. All right, enough about clowns and overachieving at douchebags. No Mercy. Ziggler and Miz match of the night, moment of the night. Corbin did his job. And
what did you think of the championship match going on first?
Well, it was obvious why. I mean, the debate was on. I mean, that's more of a fucking circus than wrestling is. So I understood why they did it. They wanted to bring people in first. Hopefully they would stay tuned to the show. I thought it was a hell of a match, honestly. Let's do what ESPN rated them while I'm here. They don't show it. They suck. All right. I thought it was a great match. The ending was kind of weird to me. But after and imagine this guy's continuity. After AJ Styles explained it on Smackdown 2 nights later, it made more sense. You know what I mean? So they addressed what happened. That's what wrestling does. Finally. So I was okay with it. It was pretty good. I liked it. Kept things going. While Cena's gone, Ambrose is in. When Ambrose leaves, Cena will come back. It's a constant flow of content. It makes sense.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match as well. And I thought the story's been really good. And I was glad to see that Cena took the pinfall, not Dean. Of course, Dean's going to get a championship match, it looks like, against Styles again.
When's
I think that's why Cena ate the pin.
It's not Survivor Series.
Survivor, isn't it?
It might be.
Is it Survivor Series?
Yeah, because
yeah.
Raw has shit in a cell at the end of the month, and then they have the 23rd for Survivor Series. 22nd.
That might be the next pay-per-view.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, you're going to see Dean and AJ go toe-to-toe.
That's in Survivor Series, so I think it is the next one.
Okay. All right, then it has to be then. And then after that, Cena's going to get another shot when he is done filming American Grit, which did terrible in the ratings. So,
yeah, I mean,
yeah. What are you gonna do? The women, Becky Lynch, unfortunate. Emergency hospital visit. I'm thinking appendicitis, but they haven't said anything yet. I hope she's okay. Obviously, she's my sweetheart. But instead, we got Alexa Bliss and Naomi, which was one of the worst matches I've ever seen. Unfortunate.
Oh, it was a disaster. I thought the outcome was really puzzling, though. Why would they not have Alexa Bliss win?
Because they want Naomi to be in a title shot down the road, possibly a triple threat at Survivor Series.
But you have your next title defense is going to be Alexa Bliss, versus Becky Lynch. Yep. And now you made her look like a second-rate contender.
Yeah, I don't know. And what happened on SmackDown? Naomi got another pinfall, so it's obvious where they're going. Becky's going to beat Alexa, and then they're going to have a triple threat, and that might be where she drops it.
Could be.
So we're going to find out.
I guess we'll see. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they book Nikki Bella. You know, is she going to be more of the helping hand veteran, or is she actually going to go right back into the title picture? I mean, she did beat Carmella.
She did.
Yeah,
rematch, man. They're gonna have a rematch.
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. But I was surprised that the Usos lost.
I'm glad they did, because and here's the thing: the Usos are doing so well, but you know what? They're starting to actually piss me off a little bit, and whenever it comes down to their character, I think it's starting to get kind of racist. Like some Samoan thugs. I mean, for fuck's sake, what are they supposed to be? Gang members? Because like that's what they're going for. That's what it looks like to me from face value. it looks like they just go out there and like want to fucking kill somebody. Or is that good? I don't know. The match was fine. Slater and Rhino needed one title defense for crying out loud, and they got it. They don't hold it past Survivor Series. There's no way. Give it. And on top of that, where's Alpha? Alpha's been buried like fuck. It's still in the main event of the tag team title picture, but you get my point. Where are they going to go?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I guess we'll see. But they didn't want to pull the trigger on them too fast, I guess. But
No.
yeah, I thought one of the more puzzling things of this show was it seemed like the Intercontinental title match would be the main event. And then they just totally flipped it at last minute and it ended up being Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, which I thought was a mistake. I thought Ziggler and The Miz should have been the last match if they were not going to have the match go last.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Vince McMahon apparently, according to backstage rumors, said that he regrets not having that main the show. So I understand. Hey, at least Vince loved Miz and Ziggler. He's a fan. He apparently congratulated them both backstage, which is good. They need that. They need support from the man who makes all of the decisions. And Brad, let's not kid around with people. If they are mad about something in wrestling, you know who the root of the problem is. It's Vince McMahon. It isn't like it's not some writer. It isn't even Kevin Dunn. Because he's just a yes man. He doesn't actually do anything. He's basically what you see on TV as far as like the cuts, like the fades, whatever. Vince makes all of them. In NXT, Triple H makes all of the decisions. It's down to Vince. Don't bitch about the creative team, even though they suck, because we don't even know that, honestly. What if like Johnny Dickhands has a great idea, but Vince says no, we will never know about it. That grinds my gears. And the whole main event thing, that was Vince. That was not Shane McMahon.
Yeah. Vince, the micromanager, he loves him some Randy Orton. That's the bottom line.
I don't think so, though. Randy lost.
Yeah, but he sees Randy Orton as a much bigger star than in reality he is. And that just, if you even look at the Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton stuff, again, I thought the same thing. Like, really? So, yeah, I mean, their match was fine. It was not very exciting to me. It kind of was what it's whatever. It was nice to see Luke Harper return and that he's going to be on SmackDown. I think that's great. He's another person who's a good fit for SmackDown that will get a lot better use on SmackDown than he went on Raw. Absolutely. And I hear they're repackaging Eric Rowan possibly. He's out injured right now, but that would probably be best. It's time to I think the Wyatt gimmick, it's time to just, go with it.
But Luke Harper and Bray have really good chemistry.
They do. And there's maybe something different they can do with the same concept, but make it different. But, the whole thing has just been a failure because, they haven't been taken seriously and they don't win. So what can you say?
Nothing at all. So yeah, the main event, it didn't do it for me. Miz and Ziggler should have been, but you know what? It was a good show nonetheless. I give it 3 stars.
Well, it's much better than what Raw's putting out. I mean,
terrible. But before that, we've been filled with a lot of passion the past few weeks, I would say, on the show. And what better before we get to the shit show that is Monday Night Raw, to have a passion-filled statement, a rant, an enraged-filled conversation with none other than D9 Petro, who was upset that we didn't have a show last week because he was really proud of this run-in. And I am too, but it's all my fault. So without further ado, and Brad, you're going to like this one. Want to know why? No Hulk Hogan reference. Not even one.
I'm surprised he could resist.
I know. You're telling me. On Friday, he said that too. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the run-in. Everyone, listen up.
Has a problem. The problem is the ratings on Monday night, and I'm hoping that he doesn't take a look at last week's ratings and blame that on the women main eventing.
This is Vince McMahon, by the way, he's talking about.
The viewership in the third hour dropped 200,000, but it's been dropping in the 10 to 11 p.m. hours. So it's not like, oh, well, we put the women on and the ratings dropped. No, everything they've put on has had the ratings dropping from 10 to 11 p.m. So hopefully Vince has enough actual common sense, which he seems to be lacking a lot of the time, to understand that it wasn't because of Charlotte and Sasha. In fact, maybe they stopped a higher viewership from tuning out. That's actually a possibility because they put on another fantastic match. Women's wrestling has come a long way. I don't know if it's ready to main event a WrestleMania, but I tell you what, I would be willing to, if I was WWE, to experiment with main eventing a pay-per-view. Maybe not WrestleMania, but main event a pay-per-view and see how that goes, see how it's received. Because the women in the current product can put that product on. And the best part is it's not just Trish and Lita, who were the only two at that time who could have pulled that off. It is Sasha, Becky, Charlotte. You know, there's a whole plethora of women who can go in the ring, and I think it's time that WWE look at that. But in terms of the ratings, Vince was supposedly, I read, upset about the other night of the presidential debate and up against Monday Night Football, and they had their lowest viewership. Well, Vince, God, you're smarter than that. Come on, you know. I know if my TV station, and I work in television, goes up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I know our rating is going to be low. We don't get upset that our rating is low because we know that the Steelers are getting the ratings and that's the end of it. But here's the difference. Every show that I produce, no matter what, I produce it to the best of my ability. I produce it to be the best product possible, even if I know it's going to get a low rating. Why do I do that? Because somebody's watching. Somebody's watching. People are watching. And the people who have tuned into your product deserve 100% of your product. They made the choice on a night when something else was being watched by the majority of the people to tune into your product. And so you have the obligation to give those people the very best product possible, and not just the obligation to them, but the obligation to yourself, because you have to prove that you are worthy of being watched. You have to prove that you're the best show option that night, and you have to do that to keep them coming back. I once told a singer friend of mine who was playing in front of a crowd of about 20 people and was kind of disappointed by that. I said, whoa. I said, you give everything you've got tonight. These people came to see you. It doesn't matter if it's 20 people or 20,000 people. You give your best every time. Raw on that night did not give its best. Vince, you need to see that. You need to see that your writing failed that night. You need to see that your guys mailed it in that night in terms of the storyline and the plot and the advancement. They mailed it in. And that responsibility, Vince McMahon, doesn't rest on them. It rests on you. And you have to put together the product that people want to watch. You have to actually understand the fans and what they want and what they don't want. You have the tools on Raw. You're just not building the house, man. And you've got to find a way to get that done without upsetting the Smackdown apple cart, by the way. So find a way, Vince. Make some actual real change, and I don't know, maybe listen to the fans. This run-in is finished.
Well, how about them apples, huh?
Fired up.
Little bit. Little bit. So talk to me. I mean, he kind of told me what he thought on Friday in more in depth, but I want to know what you think.
Well, what did you think? What did you tell him?
I told him he was 100% right, and he understands the difference between how they do things and how they don't, and who makes the decisions and who actually does. There is a big common disconnect between, and what we literally just talked about a minute and a half ago, which was know who's making all of the decisions where it matters most. It's Vince McMahon. And yeah, Dean was talking about Raw the night of the debate, which was over a week ago, and he's 100% correct. You know what I mean? I don't see the purpose of phoning it in. I don't like the term phoning it in. You know what? If you're going to go to an eating contest, phone it in, because who cares? If you're going to go make a phone call, phone it in. If you're going to be trying to appease millions of people, phoning it in just looks lazy, arrogant. It's asinine, to be quite honest with you, and I don't know why people stand for it. On Raw, you know what, dude? I fast forward or not finished Raw 4 out of the past 5 weeks in a row, but you better bet your damn ass that I go through SmackDown as soon as it's on, as soon as it's over. Because there's a reason to watch. I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of common sense, but also a lot of, just watching a product a long time, and just kind of knowing some of the inner workings and what works, what doesn't, and the common themes and what doesn't work, and the bad decisions. And I agree with them.
And how do you fix that, man? How do you fix it? We ask that every single week, and I think the answer is relatively the same. How exactly do you fix it? Just start giving more of a fuck? Because, Vince needs to not leave his fucks at home. He needs to bring his fucks with him to give.
You have to start at the top, and unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen until Vince is not in that role, and so we'll continue to have more of the same until that changes.
But
for sure.
But here's the problem: you still have Vince caters to the smart marks, and so does Triple H. We're seeing it happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and actually, that's part of the problem.
It is.
That's actually part of the problem.
So then who do you listen to? Do you listen to the casual audience? Because let's be fair, if Roman Reigns would have been champ, that would not have worked, even though he's more over with the casual audience than a lot of the wrestlers on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, that's storytelling and presentation, and that could have been fixed. They totally blew that.
Yeah.
They do need to in large part gear towards the casual audience with some stuff still for the smart fans that they enjoy. Look at your champions right now. Kevin Owens is the Universal Champion.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, right?
I mean, that's not a draw for any mass audience. That's a draw for the people who watch ROH, for the people who watch WWE and New Japan and ECW and FCW and CCW and AIW and FC and all the other W's, whatever. What I'm saying is it's the smart fan audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're looking to double dip into them and take every penny they have, which is what they're doing, then Kevin Owens is probably an all right pick for the champion. But if you ever want to grow the product, you can't take a guy who doesn't have a single muscle in his body, who looks like he was bullied in school and is 5'9", 240, with a gut so big that he's got to wear a girdle. I mean, this is like in wrestle in loose, workout clothing. It's not what a champion looks like. And champions come in different forms. They don't have to be, have six packs or be overly muscular or bodybuilders, but they have to look a little bit legitimate, like they're athletic or they have an airport appeal or presence. He just doesn't have it. So,
but now, what's the difference between AJ Styles? Because he is that guy. He is that indie-rific character that people loved in New Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA. What is the difference with him? Is it that little bit of muscle, that integrity, that charisma? Kevin Owens has a lot of charisma. I mean, what's the difference? Am I missing something? Why is Styles more over with a casual audience than Kevin Owens? They're both heels. It's not like that changes anything.
Yeah, I mean that Styles has been on a bigger stage for longer, and he's traveled around the country to different TNA, New Japan, WWE. Granted, I wouldn't call him a big draw either in a mass appeal situation, but he does at least. He's good at all facets of pro wrestling. I think he's got a good promo, and he's just exceptional in ring. And he does a lot of the different things. He's very good at a lot of the different things all around. But he's not a big guy. He's in good shape though. He at least looks like an athlete, like he's in good shape.
Yeah.
He's not a big guy though, so he's not going to have a lot of appeal. That's just the reality. He's very over with smart fans though.
He is.
I think to me, it's very telling of the time in wrestling when Kevin Owens is your champion.
And people don't like to hear that. People are really...
People get mad as fucking hell when I say that.
Yeah.
And I don't say it to be mean. I just say it because I'm being honest. And we have to have honest conversations about this stuff if we ever want to see it get better.
You're right. And I tell you all the time about the wrestling Facebook chat that I'm with my buddies. They're indie fans. One of them is even a wrestler, an independent wrestler in Pittsburgh. And like they gang up on me when I say that like Kevin Owens isn't a draw, or like Neville's not a draw, or Seth Rollins isn't a draw. Are you like, go look at the numbers, bud? Are you serious? I don't see what I see. Like, okay, on Raw, the match, the tag match with Nice and Gulak versus Cara and Dorado, I believe was the match. Or am I thinking of the singles? Who did Perkins face? Fuck, what's his name? Little guy. Raw.
On Raw?
Yeah, on Raw. It's TJ Perkins. Who did he fight?
Was that it wasn't Nice.
Oh,
was
Daivari.
Oh yeah, Daivari's brother. Yeah. That's right.
Arya Daivari. So that match was pretty good, right? It was all right. Had some decent moments in it. People in my wrestling chat were like, that match was fucking amazing. Okay. Let's, it's to say subjective art form, but let's just hold our horses here. I think that's the problem. Like, a lot of people are like, that match is amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. When really, not every match is great. And someone put, John's tuning out. The cruiserweights are on. Yeah, you know what? I look down at my phone to look on Twitter or on Facebook or to send a text. I get more satisfaction from a good story. That's what I'm there for. I'm there to be enticed with writing and emotion. Not everyone has to be that way, but people just don't open their eyes enough. I can respect a flippity-doo spot fest and a good story match. I can appreciate Neville and Sami Zayn, which was both bad example. I can appreciate TJ Perkins and Arya Daivari and The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. I can do both, but not a lot of people can do both. And I think that's where the smart marks have their issues. Like a match between Roman Reigns and John Cena. You know what? If it was done well, and those guys are great, I would love that if it's written properly.
Yeah, they don't realize this is being the smart fan, the average smart fan, I should say. Because I'm like you, I can appreciate both. But I understand the need and importance for a storytelling. I actually prefer and like that, but I also understand to appeal to a mass audience, you need that because your average pro wrestling fan isn't tuning in to watch a fake fight. They're tuning in for the male soap opera. They want to see the build to the fight. They don't want to see two guys thrown together in a random match for 15 minutes. I mean, that's just going to be boring. They're not going to watch throughout the show for that. So, but they don't understand. The smart fans, they don't understand it. It's very telling, especially when wrestlers don't understand it, as to the state of the business. It's common sense and logic. And, you know, they've got to expand out. Now, the cruiserweights, they had a good match. How many people watched Raw because of the cruiserweights? How many people watched specifically because of the cruiserweights? I
would say 3%.
I wouldn't even say 3%. The ratings went down. The ratings were actually declined this week.
Yeah.
I mean, basically nobody watches for that. I mean, the smart fans I enjoyed the cruiserweight division. I loved it in WCW in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. The average fan who's flipping the channels, sipping on a beer at home, is not going to be tuned into a bunch of small guys doing flips.
No, you're right.
They want a story. Now, if they have a story and they give them a simulated fight, that's something different. This is where WWE is failing with the cruiserweights, and I've talked about this. They have to have stories around these cruiserweights. Instead, what they're doing is telling you, look, these are cruiserweights. Everything's purple. These guys are different. They're not as good as everybody else. And by the way, we're not going to give them stories with the exception of the title picture, which is a very weak story anyway. And we're just going to put them in matches together and have spot fests for 10 or 15 minutes to get that match in, because that's the division we have on Raw. And that's it. There's no other effort put into it at all. And what do they expect? That's the outcome they should be getting.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And it's only going to decline more. I mean, taking a look at Raw and SmackDown this week, what were some of the key moments? Jericho, once again, is doing so well. Now, okay, if he was world champion, do you think ratings would go up? Do you think more casual viewers would tune in? Honestly.
It's possible over time. I mean, they have to... I'll give you, for example, if they did something sort of like the final deletion on Raw, something really kind of revolutionary, taking a chance, except they made it more, obviously, much less, indie looking, I think those are the kind of things that could draw people in. So they have to do something. And I think Chris Jericho is so good that he's one of the guys that gives them a chance for mass appeal. He's done other things. He's got a rock band. He's, does the Talk is Jericho podcast network. And, he's got somewhat of a cross appeal. I mean, he's not a big guy, but he's got a charisma. And there's something about him. He's got that it factor. And Chris Jericho, in his 40s, is one guy I can say that I would legitimately take as the world champion. And I would take him as the world champion over Kevin Owens even today. I mean, he's the most entertaining part of Raw. If they put him on SmackDown, I'm not even sure that I would watch Raw.
Wow. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I can respect that. I really can. Seth Rollins isn't even doing... he's not over, dude. The guy is just not over. Yeah, it is.
He's not. He's overrated by the Smarks. That's just the truth.
Yeah. But I do love Seth, though. He can do a lot in the ring. He has good mannerisms. I like his emotion. I like the way he can conduct himself in the squared circle. I like all that. I like his promo, too. I think Rollins has all the tools to be great. But that's just me. I mean, everyone's going to differ in their opinion, obviously. So, we have to see where it goes from here. But
Rollins is an upper mid-card guy to me.
He is. Well, and even so,
what's wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, that also leaves a lot to be desired in the main event when you really don't have that many people.
Well, they're not building stars. They're not building main eventers. That's the problem. That's why you have Goldberg returning to face Brock Lesnar. Who the hell else is going to be credible to face Brock Lesnar right now?
Nobody. And this is where this is where they fucked up with Rusev. Rusev right now should be a monster heel, winning that world championship and having a babyface chase that fucker for half a year. That's what should be happening.
Yeah, absolutely. He is a legitimate champion. He's someone I could see as a legitimate champion. Man, they have really dropped the ball with him.
You know what's funny? James Ellsworth is going to have a world title shot before Rusev. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I don't know if funny's the word, but yeah, it's interesting.
and no discredit, because I like SmackDown. I like what they're doing. It's giving heat to AJ, but that's just some of the facts that you learn over time. All right, so history making for Raw. Sasha Banks, Charlotte, the first Hell in a Cell for a woman.
I want to talk about this.
Yeah,
first I want your take on what you feel about this.
Well, I feel fantastic about it, aside from the fact that Charlotte may hurt her again.
Yeah, clearly. They're both at risk for being hurt, and they already have basically they're shuffling in the same women on Raw. Like, they don't use Summer Rae, etc. So they're basically using the same few women, and two of them may be hurt in this match. So, yeah, carry on.
That's really it. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good, and I like that they're making history. I'm a fan of change, but and women's equality, and I'm a fan. I support that. But I hope they're okay. I hope they don't get hurt. That's really all.
So let me ask you this question: why are they having a Hell in a Cell match?
Because it's a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Was that none of the?
Is there any other reason they're having a Hell in a Cell match?
No.
Well, no. You're right. I mean, that's the actual truth. That's the answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this goes back to a fundamental problem. First of all, number one, I am not a fan of having any match because it is the first time two women are going to do it. I think that's a very childish mindset. And while we want to see barriers broken down, these gimmick pay-per-views are a disaster. They're not worth it. There's no payoff. And they should be essentially done away with a couple of exceptions.
Elimination Chamber being one.
So what I'm used to, and what I think is how this works properly, is you have basically a blood feud, a really nasty feud between two people that is so ugly and so intense that the only way it can be settled is inside Hell in a Cell, right? It's the climax to a feud that is ongoing for months, that is intense, and there's no other way to settle the score than a Hell in a Cell match. And by the way, without the blood rule, these matches are automatically very weak.
Well, very. Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels was an example of what you just said, by the way.
Yeah. Exactly. So, off the bat, it's like this is just another match like everything else because there's no meaning behind it. There's no intensity that tells me they need to have a Hell in a Cell match. They're just having one to have it because, you know, that's the name of the pay-per-view. And so it's just very stupid to me. And so if you're going to have women do the match, then book it right. Make it worth it. Make it so that a Hell in a Cell match is called for. Otherwise, get rid of these gimmick pay-per-views, Hell in a Cell, ladder match, Elimination Chamber, all these fucking things. They're just hurting the talent. You're not protecting them. You're putting them in these situations where they're getting hurt. The roster is hurt nonstop.
Yeah.
And you're taking what is essentially right now you're booking as your two top females. One, Sasha Banks, who admits she has memory loss because she's been beat about the head so much. And two, Charlotte, who botches things off the top rope constantly. And you're putting them in a match where they've nearly killed each other multiple times on accident, botching. And you're putting them inside a Hell in a Cell just to do it, not because the feud calls for it. Then you can say, oh, it's the first time two women have done it. Well, look at us. Aren't we great? I mean, what the fuck?
No comment. I can kind of put it into perspective there. I hope they get out alive. That's it. That's all I want. So, Raw and SmackDown, I think we're good, right? And SmackDown was better, easily. Miz and Zig had another great segment. Miz, another hell of a promo. Dean Ambrose was like actually like cool funny, not like douchey funny for the first time.
Yeah,
that made sense. Alexa and Naomi have a match next week. Hey, things to look forward to. Wouldn't you know, right? Who would ever thought? And Raw is just Raw. What happened again?
So I want to get your thoughts on SmackDown in particular about James Ellsworth defeating AJ Styles, the WWE World Champion, on TV. James Ellsworth being a jobber who's made a couple of appearances previously in WWE TV. What are your thoughts on the World Champion losing to a jobber on TV?
I think people need to stop being so uptight. It was a fucking... He cheated. Okay, Dean Ambrose gave him the win, literally. And so who cares? The Rock lost a shirt to Hurricane Helms. Who the fuck cares? It's not going to tarnish AJ Styles' reputation. It's just done for entertainment. And, okay, so let's say Ellsworth did pin him without any help. That's one thing. But Ambrose gave him the victory. Who cares? I mean, for me, I don't see him any differently. I just thought it was entertaining. Thought it was, like, different, funny. Obviously, he's not going to win the title next week. Like, what kind of an idiot would think that? So what does it matter? It's not David Arquette. It's not Vince Russo booking it, for fucking sake, just to get a pop out of people. This doesn't matter. I don't think it matters at all.
Well, I think they've devalued their championship so much that it doesn't matter nearly as much as it used to. I definitely get the argument of crapping on the title and doing that. I wasn't overly offended by it because it's a bigger picture story with Dean and AJ and you know, kind of the feel of the segment, but never a good idea in general. But again, I think they've devalued the championship so badly these days that, you know, it's less of a big deal than it's ever been, and probably that's part of the reason business is down because, you know, the championships aren't a big deal. But yeah, that's my thoughts, and I was just curious what you thought. And I thought The Miz in particular was bringing credibility back to the Intercontinental title. That's why I thought he should have beaten Dolph Ziggler, is because he really brought legitimate credibility back to the title. And I'm only hoping now that he moves on to the main event picture soon. And if he doesn't, I think then on his momentum.
I think he will. And I don't think it's lost any momentum or the prestige as far as the title's concerned, because Ziggler has it and he's legitimate too. I think they're going to be okay. Just give it time. Let it play out. At least SmackDown has reasons to watch every week, and you know you are allowed to be patient with their feuds because they culminate pretty well at the end, don't you say? At least so far, I've given them a lot of chances and they've hit home runs past basically every time. So I really can't hate.
Well, they've definitely been better than Raw for sure.
Easily.
What did you think about Kane being in the main event picture again, teaming up in this instance on SmackDown with Randy Orton to face Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt? What are your thoughts on Kane in the main event in 2016?
I don't think it. I see. Okay, I put the main event where the title is, so I don't consider that the main event really, even though it technically was. It was just a tag match. Randy needed help, and that was really it. I don't know. I really don't see the big deal. I try not to let things get to me.
I mean, I think they're really missing the point here of having Kane at almost 50 years old on the roster.
But he's not going to win anything substantial. That's what matters.
No, what matters is he's on the roster beating guys, and he should be putting stars of tomorrow over. This tag team match does nothing. He needs to be in a singles feud with someone. Putting them over is a big deal.
He'll put over Bray and Luke when it matters. He will.
Yeah, he'll be 60 by then.
Oh. Let's not go that far. But anywho, the big stink, if you will, not even a big stink really. The big story that came out of this week was Bill Goldberg. And before we get to that, by the way, some news here. Hideo Itami is probably out again for several months. I'm going to consider his time in WWE over, and he's going to leave. And another thing, why the hell is he doing house shows when he should be near the NXT main event? I haven't watched NXT in 4 weeks. I've been behind. But why is he doing a fucking house show? Why are main event stars for that promotion doing house shows? That's completely idiotic to me.
NXT is a total failure as a developmental, and I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
And this is another example. You've got a guy who's in his mid-30s, and he's wrestling on the developmental roster on house shows in front of fucking 200 fans. That's just why would he ever leave New Japan for that? I mean, this is a joke. So, I don't get it, dude. I mean, I don't know. I think his run has been a total failure in WWE. I had heard rumblings a while back that he wasn't necessarily the happiest and maybe wanted to go back to New Japan. I don't see it working out. He's got the injury-prone label, and I think he'll end up leaving eventually.
I think so, too. Why bother anymore? All right, so we're near the end of the program. Before we get to Goldberg, do you want to talk about my problem or Goldberg's problem? Or rather, your problem first?
We can talk about the Goldberg issue first and kind of save the best for last.
That's all. That's all you. Goldberg, Lesnar are going to happen probably at Survivor Series. It was announced Monday night, and Brad has a problem with it.
Well, my problem is that I reported this shit about 2 weeks ago.
That's so funny. I can't get over it.
So, all you fucking marks out there about paying $10.99 a month to Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, or $9.99 a month to Mike Johnson and Dave Scherer, or however much money to ProWrestling.net, Jason Powell, or any of these other pay sites, or any of these free sites like the God himself, Ryan Satin, who knows all of the scoops. And you can shove it all up your asses, because I reported this on my Twitter account, our Twitter account for the podcast, on September 29th. Well before Jim Ross had the scoop, as he told everybody, just remember where you heard this from. Actually, Jim Bob, they heard it from me if they followed me on Twitter. Well before Ryan, well before Dave, well before Mike, well before any of these people, I had the scoop. And frankly, I'm the one that actually told Dave Meltzer on Twitter. I added him so he would have the information. Maybe he followed up from there, but that's speculation. I don't know. But I do know I had the information first. I presented the information first. I was 100% correct in everything I said, including the very minutia of what was going to happen. Like Goldberg being teased, the match being teased, and then him showing up in Denver the next week. Every fucking thing I said was 100% correct, so suck it.
I just tweeted out. I just tweeted out. Well, here's what you need to do. You need to make that your pinned tweet. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah. It's like, and I had, every time I do this and I come out and, and I drop some scoops. Oh, yeah, you don't know shit, or you're just guessing, or that was obvious, or everybody knew that. Yeah, right, asshole. No, not everybody knew that. Nobody knew that, or they would have been saying it. Thank you very much. And I had another guy, another podcast, actually. Wrestling and Chill was the name of the podcast.
I know that guy. He's kind of a dick.
Well, he's not kind of a dick. He is a dick. And when I made this tweet, he proceeded to go on a rant telling me I was full of shit, that I didn't have any information, etc., etc. So after I proved him wrong, he continued to deny me, saying that means nothing. And then I just blocked him. And now I'm sure he looks totally stupid, because here we are, and they've officially announced it, and now he sees I was right all along. So if you're listening, suck my dick, you little bitch.
Oh, man. The things that just keep you going, right? I mean, I haven't eaten since like fucking 9 this morning. And just like I don't know, man. It makes me feel good inside. It really does. But like, people need to understand, like, you're not always right, guys. Right? Remember the whole Finn Balor debut thing? I was wrong. Yeah. Brad was wrong. People are wrong. Shit happens. But here's the same thing, and Brad, I think I actually told you this that night. We will get chastised to hell and back for getting something wrong. But the moment we're right, no one says a damn thing. And that's not
exactly correct.
And that isn't wrestling journalism. It is, but that isn't just wrestling journalism. That's journalism everywhere. Everyone does it.
Yeah. Someone said, you're really tooting your own horn. Well, I'm sorry. Nobody gives me credit for this. I report information like this. I reported when Samoa Joe won the title. I reported when Shane McMahon was going to return to Raw before it happened, all on Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. And nobody believes it. But when it happens, nobody says anything. Nobody says you were right. Nobody retweets it. Nobody does anything. So they're a bunch of jealous idiots. And I'm sorry, people have information. I hate to tell you, it's not just Ryan Satin and Mike Johnson and Dave Meltzer that have information. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What are you going to do? Sit and accept it. Just and guys, this isn't like some holier than thou speech and shit. Trust me. But just a lesson to take with you for your days, whenever the fuck they are. Or how long they're going to last. Just, have respect for people, Just that easy. It's that easy. Last but not least, you want me to talk about my situation? Well, first of all, are you happy Goldberg's coming back? I think it's short-term and it's desperate. But that's just me.
I don't care. I mean, it's desperate because ratings are down, and that's why they're pushing it at Survivor Series, and that's why they brought him back so quickly to do this match. Yeah, they have a plan at WrestleMania for Brock, and so that's why they wouldn't have done it at WrestleMania, but they could have done it at Rumble. But no, they want to do it now for ratings because they're desperate. They know the ratings suck. And so that's what they're doing, and it's another Band-Aid fix. They're going to the same well over and over with these guys who are 40, 50 years old, who are part-time, who are returning from retirement. It's just... Goldberg fans are going to love it, I'm sure. They haven't seen him in forever. I don't know. I think your average smart fan is just going to be kind of indifferent to it, and maybe it draws in some casual fans for a bit.
Maybe
product is so bad otherwise, I don't think they'll stay. But you know what? I'm just like, I don't really care. I thought the first match sucked, and I don't think either guy cares about the business, and I'm just like so over the Goldberg gimmick, especially at like 50 years old. I don't know. I just don't care, I guess. I just don't care. And there are a lot of people that do, and that's fine. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah. It's excuse me. It's pro wrestling. You're allowed to like stuff,
Yeah.
You're allowed to like whatever you want. That it's pretty cool with the way it works, isn't it?
And I'm allowed to bury what I want.
Well, I wouldn't expect anything less. So, all right, let me get to my shit real quick before we sign off here. So, Brent, what do you want to know? A lot has happened. I've been teasing something for weeks. True. But, what do you want to know? You want to know about my life? I can tell you about my life if you want. I'd be more than happy to. So, basically, everyone, love isn't real, and you're going to die alone. No. Wrestling's real, damn it. And you can't teach that. No, basically, Bradley, it was some personal news in John Fisher's life. I said some things to a certain somebody, and she did not reciprocate those feelings, and it made John Fisher a little bit upset.
Well, tell us.
Well, without getting too in depth, because this is not what this show is about. The show is about bullshittery, which is kind of what happened to me. Told a girl who I've been knowing for 6 years how I felt. Kind of like trying to tell a wrestler how you feel about them and just getting shit on with a big heel turn, right? Imagine little Jimmy telling John Cena how much he loves him and then him just kicking it right in his dick. Same thing. And she did not feel the same way, it turns out. So now we're trying to rekindle our friendship because now it's weird to her. So if I've been out a week or here or there, that's been why, trying to figure some shit out. I'm a ripe 72-year-old man, and I want to strike while the iron's hot.
Well, I think it was important. I think it was important that you put yourself out there, that you were vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
And frankly, I think it was important that you did tell her how you feel. Because at that point, when you have feelings for someone who's a friend, whether they reciprocate or not, no matter how they feel, it's got to come to an end, right? It's got to have a conclusion. And that conclusion based on your feelings is they reciprocate and you guys try it out, or it's just not going to work, and so things do change because of that, and that's life. But I think in the end, you're much better off for at least letting her know.
I think so too.
And it took a lot of balls.
Yeah. So confirmed, guys. I have gigantic balls, and you really cannot teach that. So that's it. Yeah, you can't, and that's really for the John Fisher Love Power Hour. I mean, you can tweet at me at John Fish Gaming to see what your thoughts are, or if you have any problems. I can be Dr. Phil. I can call you. What did he call someone, like a damn pimp or something? I forget what the line was. Do you still have your sound box over there in Raleigh, North Carolina land?
I do.
Yeah, something about a pimp or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, and hey, I told you I just tweeted what's happening. Oh, I tweeted about you being first for the Goldberg news. It's true.
I see that.
Yeah. Well, hell, I had to. So yeah, that kind of about does it. Oh, by the way, Undertaker's walking with crutches right now in October. Someone retire this man. Maybe that's what Goldberg's here for.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe that's a double retirement match. That would be great. But no, someone said, "Oh, I think he's trolling everybody because the woman in the picture has a cast on. It's really a walking boot."
Yes.
Now, if you're wearing a walking boot, you shouldn't need to walk around with crutches.
Yes.
But the crutches are obviously, the woman is short and the Undertaker is extremely tall. And the height of the crutches would fit for the Undertaker's height, not hers.
Yes.
So if they were hers, he would have had to literally up the height if they would even go that high. It's unlikely because being 6'6" myself and not being a whole lot shorter than the Undertaker legit, you really do have to special order those type of crutches that are that tall. So they're more than likely his is the truth. But who knows?
Yeah, maybe we're all being worked into a shoot. You never know. You never know. Undertaker at age like 49 said, "Hey, give me those crutches. Let me make the internet mad." Says the guy with no Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. So really, what's happening? But what do I know? I'm just a journalist. What do I know? Okay, as I hack along, where can we find you on the internet? Our time has come to go into the darkness.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Too soon.
You can find me giving scoops that nobody else is for free at the VOTV podcast on Twitter.
Speaking of Twitter, I just saw something from Matt Hardy. Invited, if Meek Mahan allows the Day of New to appear at Total Nonstop Deletions Apocalypto, I'll make an appearance on Meek Mahan's show.
Oh, boy.
I love it. I really do. Meek Mahan. That guy is so fucking creative.
He is. He's out there. If he could do that with WWE's expertise and production and guidance, not stealing his creative stuff, but I think him on the WWE stage, that could be totally huge. That act,
yeah,
Broken Matt,
easy.
And I think him and the Wyatt family in sort of like in a war like they've done in TNA with the Decay and some of the others. I think that could be money, and I think that's another mainstream thing they could try, but I don't know. Who knows?
Who
will
really
buy TNA? Who knows?
Yeah, I know. Oh, before we go,
I will.
Will you? Will you really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I've got a couple bucks under the couch somewhere.
Oh God, I'm dying. Oh, before we go, the page stuff. Oh, I'm Johnfish Gaming on Twitter, Wrestling News Hub on Facebook, Johnfish3 on Twitch. Paige, the fuck, man?
She looks like she's all heroined out or something.
I hope that isn't the case. I really do. I hope not.
She looks like she's on drugs. In fact, WWE basically, they came right out and said that she failed the test for an illegal drug.
Oh, but it was a prescription that wasn't approved, right?
Well, no, she tried to claim that. They did her whole family, from what I have always heard in England, has got a bad reputation as being trashy. I don't know if that's true or not, but basically the whole family got involved and responded and, protecting their family member, daughter, etc., whatever, I understand. They tried to say, basically, she didn't use a WWE doctor. It was just a painkiller for her neck problems, etc.
Yeah.
WWE was so incensed at the response that they gave to the media that they came out and actually said she failed for an illegal drug, not a prescription painkiller.
Yeah.
So they definitely outed her in a major way, which is something they haven't done before.
No. Paige will never come back, guys. Never. And Alberto Del Rio might be...
Yeah. No, now they're saying that she needs neck surgery, and someone asked her just, I guess, today or yesterday as we record this.
It was today. Wednesday.
About returning and if she would return, and she said she had to.
Yeah. See, like that's fucked
That's
up.
her contract. What we've been saying all along.
Yeah.
It's a long-term contract. She's got to return until they say, you know what, we're done with you. Or maybe she just intentionally fails enough drug tests that they have to release her.
It's like CM Punk, but backwards. We'll talk about that more next week, but it's incredible. Any final words from a sober podcast partner?
Roses are red, violets are blue. I called Goldberg being on Raw, so fuck you too.
We'll see you guys next week.